Oh, I do hear the O Canada in the background there, so I think we're almost there. All right, one sec. All right, we're up. Derek, ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Good. I think we're up. Yes, we're up on both platforms. Awesome. Okay. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to real life presentation of the Celtics versus the Raptors, Game 5. Derek, I didn't think we were going to be here, to be honest. But I suppose neither did the Celtics think they were going to be here. The way that things were going uh, after game after game two, with the Celtics out to a pretty much commanding 2-0 lead, they thought themselves in sitting pretty good at the towards the end of game three, even including a beautiful bounce pass by Kemba Walker to Tice there at the very end of the game that should have sealed it if it wasn't for the heroic three-point shot of Toronto's OG Anunoby, who hit what perhaps could be a series-saving three-pointer
Yeah,
at this rate.
a buzzer beater in the end. They
Yeah,
did everything. The Celtics did everything right except allowing the 0.5 seconds right at the end. And yes, good evening, America. Good morning, Oceania. And then game four, Toronto good enough to pull that one out. So we are tied at 2 and heading into game 5 here on a Monday night.
yes, indeed. On a Monday night, happy Labor Day to all those here in the States who are enjoying the day off that we've got here. So as you wind it down, thank you for winding it down here with us here at the tail end of the long 3-day weekend. Um, this should be fun, actually, at this point, because now this is a best of three. The way this goes, throw everything out the window. The games that we've played have been played, and three games to decide who moves on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Uh, Toronto looking a lot better, Derek, here these last two games. I mean, the Celtics looked dominant in the first two, and the shots were falling for Boston like crazy. We had a stat about the three-point shots. They hit 17 three-pointers in game one. They hit 15 three-pointers in game two. In game three, they were down to 9, and in game four, it only got worse. They were down to 7. So the three-point shot, a huge point of emphasis, at least defensively for Toronto, but also on the offensive side for Boston. Are we expecting to see them back on this three-point shot tonight?
I think they'll go back to it. I mean, they're only 7, not just only hitting 7, but 7 for 35. You don't see too many teams shooting 20% from deep in the 2020 NBA and getting very far. So that's not going to cut the mustard. They're going to need to be either take better shots or just hit more of them, and preferably both. If you're Brad Stevens, I suspect he'll be after a bit more of everything.
Yeah,
I've just got the box score up from the other day. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that immediately leaps to mind. Boston probably has better depth, and you'd think they would, especially after the first two games. You'd think they'd close out that series, but um, Toronto getting good contributions across the board. They had 5 players in double figures in game 4, 2 players with double doubles.
yeah, and
So
as former champions, right? They still are the reigning defending champions of the NBA.
yeah, they're the champs till you beat them. Until somebody beats them 4 times, they're still to be taken seriously. And
And we are getting ready to roll here. It is 2-2 in the series. Boston, Toronto, 3-1 in Miami, Milwaukee. We'll get to that game as part of our either quarter intermission or halftime intermission. But here we go. They're just replaying the shot from the other day, the half second, which I didn't even think a half second was enough to like catch and shoot. But as you mentioned, it just depends on when the guy at the scorer's table hits the trigger on the
Yeah,
clock.
and the score bench reflexes weren't too bad, but they still got that shot off in time.
They
So
did. Significant contributions from the big three for Toronto, which we hadn't seen in the previous games. Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and Van Vliet all playing north of 40 minutes, including the entire second half, to get the job done. This was in Game 4 in the 100-93 win on Saturday. Game 4 was a bit less heart-stopping, I suppose, than Game 3. Toronto did enter that game, that fourth quarter with an 8-point lead, and they managed to hold it throughout the remainder of the fourth quarter. But now we're excited to see what exactly is going to happen in this game 5 as we are underway here from the NBA bubble, getting things going. It is Smart, Walker, Tice, Brown, and Tatum on the court, the starting 5 for the Celtics. Gordon Hayward is back in the bubble, but will have to go through 4 days of quarantine, and so he is not yet playing with the Celtics team as the first shot goes for Boston. They are a three-pointer. Good to see that getting in early.
yeah, Jaylen Brown opening the scoring for the Celtics.
For the Toronto side, Van Vliet, Lowry, Gasol, Anunoby, and Siakam. So the starting 5 for both teams remaining the same through the series, and that's Gasol with a mid-range jump shot that misses about halfway through the shot clock. Tatum with the rebound, and he's bringing the ball the other way. Jaylen Brown is going to work on Siakam here. Back to Smart. Smart, who's shooting it very, very well in the first 2 games of the series. And Jaylen Brown feeling it, trying to go for his second three-pointer, but that one just goes long. Rebound down to Lowry. And Lowry's going to take it coast to coast, but then get bottled up in the paint. Siakam from the outside for 3. That shot is off the back iron and no good. Rebound down to the Celtics. Marcus Smart to Kemba. Kemba, who needs to get more involved here in this game, actually didn't as far as like scoring or anything, didn't have his best game in Game 4. The Celtics definitely wanting to see more of him as Lowry puts that one up back iron here. The shot's not really going in for either team. And Kemba, nice kick out to Smart, extra pass to Brown. Brown for 3 and thought he had that one, but it ends up going over the backboard and so out of bounds. Whew! Can't take a breath.
It's just a shootout for the first 2 minutes. We're just going to jack up threes and see what happens.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown so far the only one who's actually managed to hit anything. Everybody, all right, Chad, just managed to take a break here for a second. And it's going to be Siakam working about a bit of a height mismatch here. Siakam's going to face him up and try to drive to the basket, and it's going to go off his knee. Good defense there by Brown. A little too much hesitation by Siakam, perhaps. Trying to play a little isolation basketball, and Brown gets the better of him.
So who was betting on this game finishing 3-0?
Oh, or at least the first 2 minutes of it. Kemba powers through to the hoop.
There we go.
There with the right-handed finish as he goes left. Kemba 5-0 Boston. As Gasol to Van Vliet. Van Vliet, who finally managed to get his threes to go in the last 2 games. I got a stat. Eventually we'll have a stat for that one. But he really struggled. Couldn't hit the ocean in the first 2 games. As we say, again, this out to the Anunoby. Yes! The three-pointer for Anunoby. It's almost like a mirror image of the one he hit at the buzzer there. And he gets the 3 to fall.
A bit more relaxed, but same result.
Yes, this should be a foul.
In transition.
Yeah. Foul on the floor on Van Vliet. Yeah, so Kemba, who basically was self-critical of himself, actually, after the loss, saying that he needs to be more aggressive after taking just 9 shots in Saturday's loss. And as Tice gets it in down low, but I thought he should have taken that shot back outside. Marcus Smart, and he's going to get called for a travel and baseline.
Yeah, he walked.
He walked. He did walk. Jamie from Twitch chat, that buzzer beater still gives me, Oh, nightmares.
Nightmares.
Yeah. Well, if you're yeah, for Boston fans, it is still giving you nightmares. We're cheering for the side of Boston here, by the way. So we're definitely pulling for the Celtics. Oh my goodness, what a block by Tice. Lowry thought he had a clear route to the rim, but not going to happen. Jaylen Brown going the other way. Oh, can't finish it either. But that's going to be a foul. Foul on Van Vliet. That's 2 early fouls on Van Vliet in 3 minutes. This is a Lowry. This is the replay here. Oh, I think actually it's a double block. So does each player get a block here? They split it? Like, is it like a sack?
No, first contact. Walker gets the credit for that one.
All right. Kemba with the block there, not Tice. Block from behind. Jaylen Brown at the free throw line. He's going to get his first. Yeah, that boy, so you got to think. I mean, mentally, right? If you're the Celtics, you think you're gonna win the game. You think you're gonna go up 3-0. Derek, if you've pointed out, no team has ever come back from 3-0. You want to put the defending champions down in a hole to make them, part of that no-win statistic, and then that shot comes in and saves it, and that should be a foul against Brown, I think. Oh no, it's a tie-up.
Good hustle by Anunoby. He got like 3 chances at that one. He'll be padding his offensive rebounding stats, but then equally good defense to tie him up and force the jump here.
Oh yeah, he just leaves the first one short there. All right, jump ball by Brown and Anunoby. Slight height mismatch, probably give the advantage to the Raptors on this one, depending on the ups. But ooh, Brown does manage to get it. Good timing on his jump. Tatum now leading the charge here for the Celtics. He hasn't scored quite yet, but is facilitating. Marcus Smart just puts up a bit of a meteor there, and it sails right over the basket. Doesn't even come close. As Gasol is going to dive in, and he can't finish, disrupted by Tatum. Brown to Tice. Tice is going to go the other way and flush it. It's exactly what Gasol should have done.
Tyson's been fantastic these first couple of minutes. He was there backing up the Walker block a moment ago. Played really good defense there on Marc Gasol, and then goes coast to coast, runs the lane hard, and gets rewarded with the pass and the dunk.
Yeah, Tice says, here, Gasol, let me teach you how to play that possession there. And Tice, defense outside on Lowry. Is Lowry going to cross him over and dribble in? He gets it outside to Anunoby. Anunoby for the 3. Rebound down to the Celtics. Almost nobody went for it. But Tatum does clean it up. Marcus Smart back out to Tatum. Tatum going to drive in against Gasol, and they're going to call that a charge. You agree with this call at full speed?
At full speed, I do. And Tatum's come up shaking his wrist a bit there. He might have landed a bit awkwardly.
Oh boy, that is.
Looks worse in slow-mo.
It does look really bad in slow-mo, by the way.
Feet are set, but he's still sort of sliding, he's sort of leaning and still moving into that.
My goodness.
The body's still catching up with the feet.
Yeah, Van Vliet for 3 hits off the back of the iron. Toronto still cold shooting. Anunoby, the only one to hit a shot at all for the Raptors. A 3-pointer for him. Jaylen Brown splits 2 up top and then puts up a mid-range jump shot. Tice tries to go for the rebound over the back on Gasol, but Gasol manages to pull it down. And Lowry working on Smart. Gasol going to think 3. He's going to take 3, and no good there. So, but Anunoby with the rebound, Anunoby with the putback finally. Anunoby with Toronto's 5.
Much higher percentage shot there for Toronto, but they still needed a second chance to get it.
2 of 12 for the Raptors. At 3 of 8, not much better for the Celtics. Both teams cold shooting here. That could be a foul. No, Kemba's going to get the friendly roll.
Not just 2 of 12, 1 for 6 from deep for Toronto.
Lowry going baseline here. Lowry, I thought he was maybe going to reverse it. That would have been a really tough shot. Gets it outside to Van Vliet, who's being guarded by Kemba. High screen by Gasol. Kemba goes around it. As Van Vliet loses the ball, and it will just go out of bounds. Brad Stevens today sporting the zip, the green Celtics quarter zip, actually, untucked. Quite always the fashionable coach. The Brad Stevens. All right, we're at the first media timeout here, and we got to refresh our. We need to refresh our game cast so that chat can keep up with us.
So 6:20 remaining in the first period. Boston 11, Toronto 5. That is a Toronto charge timeout.
Yep,
And
and
two fouls against the Raptors, none so far against the Celts. Well, none on the team foul tally. Offensive fouls don't count on that for the NBA.
both of those fouls being charged to Van Vliet, actually.
Mm.
But he is still in the game, so he was not taken out of the game or anything. So something to watch if he does end up getting his third foul early. Because remember, he did play all of the 40 minutes of the second. Well, he played north of 40 minutes. Played the entire second half of the game 4. So him being in is definitely a huge part of what Toronto is trying to do.
Yeah, and they're going to have to trust him and just make sure he doesn't pick up that third foul. We're getting League Pass doesn't give us ads. We get a replay of bits and pieces, and we got a replay of the Anunoby game 3 buzzer beater. There was some wag on Twitter who brought up the statistic because they brought in Taco Fall to try and guard that inbounds pass. And that was the only second of play he had during that game. So somebody worked out that Taco Fall, if you average out his plus minus per 48 minutes in the playoffs, he's something like minus 280.
Oh God! Because for half a second he goes minus 3.
Half a second minus 3.
Oh Lord, that is not a stat you want associated with your playoffs there.
It's a very Taco Fall stat though. He's a bit of a sort of cult figure.
I would love to know what the probability percentage of actually getting the pass and the shot was. If anybody's done that, they sometimes do the probability stats with like the NFL of like completing passes. I wonder if somebody will ever do that one, because I can't imagine it was very high.
No, but it's the option. It's the only option you have at that point. So
yeah. So
roll the dice and see what happens.
Game 4, however, for the Raptors, much better. Siakam had his best game of the series in Game 4, as you mentioned earlier, 23 points and 11 rebounds for Siakam. And Lowry, excellent yet again, 22 points with his 11 rebounds. And Van Vliet, who we have been sort of hard on here for basically not getting his 3-point shot to fall. He had 5 3-pointers to go with his 17 points, as Toronto hit 17 of its 44 from deep. So much, much better 3-point shooting for Toronto than they had been earlier.
Lowry also had 7 assists in that game, so he was contributing all across the board. A much better game all round for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, after not really being all that challenged in their first round series, I suppose we were sort of like, oh, this is a Kawhi Leonard less Toronto Raptors, and look what the Celtics are doing. Like, this team, there's like no way this team is like the championship caliber team that it was last year. But credit to Toronto, they have absolutely stepped up here and gotten a bit extra life after that game 3, as Van Vliet actually to the bench. So gonna get a bit of a rest. Maybe Nick Nurse not wanting to risk his guard until the second quarter, at least, with those extra fouls. Boston still in control, 11-5 as we resume play.
And then Powell's first touch of the ball results in an offensive foul. So it doesn't get any better for Toronto on that front. He's immediately conceded another turnover.
Indeed. And I think I've caught up to you here. So Tatum getting it to Smart on the left wing, and Smart manages to nail one. Also thought about going for a high five with his teammates, but nobody obliged, unfortunately. So
leaving him hanging.
They did leave him hanging there. At least he didn't leave the 3 hanging. As Siakam driving on Brown, getting it back out to Gasol. We just can't finish that one. It was nice interior passing by the big men, but couldn't get it done. As Smart tries to go for a second 3, Tatum rebounds it. And Kemba now diving in, tried to get it to Tice in between 2 Toronto Raptors, and they just claw it away from him. Trying to be a little too cute there, perhaps, from Kemba on the pass. I thought he should have just finished. Tice now pulled out basically to the 3-point line. Probably not exactly where you want him, although good defense on Lowry. That was almost a walk. There's 2 seconds on the shot clock left, and Lowry's just got to put it up, and it will go out of bounds, actually. 14-5. Celtics is the poor shooting from both. What are these teams shooting right now?
The Raptors figure was pretty dreadful a moment ago, so I suspect it hasn't improved.
Refs
Yeah,
just
they haven't hit a shot since we last talked about it. 2 for 14
Oh, jeez, they still haven't hit a shot.
for the Raptors. Still 1 for 6 from deep. Boston 5 for 12, so marginally better. And then 2 for 7 from range.
I don't even know if it's all like, yeah, credit some of the Boston defense. They've come out to play, but like Toronto's just been leaving finger rolls at the rim short.
Might just be a bit of maybe not playoff jitters, considering that these teams are, especially Toronto, are extremely experienced. Just a matter of you come out and things just don't quite click early, but you'd think they'd get into a rhythm after a few minutes.
And not quite there. As Smart basically turns it over against what looks like a Toronto zone, and Kemba can't get the floater to go. We'll keep an eye out on the exact defense Toronto is playing because they have been switching man zone throughout this series as Siakam dives into the rim going right and finishes with the right hand over Tice. It should be an and one, where they call this foul on the floor.
It's only come up as a personal foul on mine, so maybe they are calling it on the floor.
Yeah, they did call it on the floor. So no opportunity to improve the poor shooting percentage on that one. Nice pass by Lowry, but it's intercepted. That one tried to go to Anunoby, and now Lowry finds himself out on the floor, and it's a jump ball. A jump ball between Jaylen Brown and Lowry. Both teams sacrificing the bodies. Bodies on the floor here early. This is what you like to see, especially the winner of Game 5 in a series tied 2-2 has a significantly better win percentage overall. Although I'm sure you know exactly what it is, but I missed it.
I don't, but I'll see if I can work my Google foo in the meantime. But there's no shortage of work rate. Both teams are definitely working hard. They're not necessarily taking bad shots. They're just not making them. They're getting set open looks. They're not like jacking up fadeaway off balance
Right.
shots or anything. They're just not dropping.
Semi Ojeleye going to check in here for Boston. There's only 0.3 seconds on the shot clock. Tatum goes to the bench, replaced by Ojeleye. There's only 0.3 seconds on the shot clock. So even if Toronto does manage to recover this jump ball, and they actually don't even jump for it, Lowry just lets Boston have it, and the shot clock resets there. I'm not sure what they, with 0.3 seconds. We know what they can do with 0.5, but 0.3 is too.
Yeah, 0.3 is in tip and hope territory.
Yes. As Tice tries to go up with it off a assist by Wanamaker. Attempted. Yes. That was Wanamaker who tried to get the assist to Tice, but he can't quite handle it. And actually takes a Siakam leg to the face. I did not see that at full speed.
Yeah, Siakam's gone up for the fake there that was thrown by Wanamaker. And then, Tice has come in behind him, just caught Siakam's back leg.
Tice manages to make both free throws. Boston extending its lead now. 11 points, although an incredible... Look, Toronto has 5 points, and we've played 8 minutes of basketball. What is happening?
Just can't hit water from a boat. That's the problem.
Yeah, and Lowry gets blocked there. He's petitioning that was a goaltend, but not going to get it. Oh, my goodness! Brown just goes up and slams it home. Puts Toronto on the poster. We'll have to check who the offended victim was on that one. Siakam tries to go down low.
It was Anunoby playing defense on that one.
Oh my gosh, Ibaka for 2. Ibaka gets put on the Anunoby gets put on the poster actually. timeout on the floor. This will be Boston's charge timeout here. Oh my goodness.
See, I'm never unhappy with guys getting posterized. At least they're back on defense. At least they're in shot. Give the guys some credit. But
Yeah.
additionally, give Jaylen Brown the credit. It's a spectacular dunk.
I mean, he just dove in there and went for it. That is, yeah, that was spectacular. All right, 11-point margin here for the Celtics, 18-7 in the early going, as Toronto just can't seem to get anything going for them. Can't buy a bucket.
Yeah, TNT just had the stat that had no field goals for about 3.5 minutes. Still only 3 for 16, and 4 turnovers in 9 minutes is not a good tally. You'd want to be under 15 or so for the game, even at NBA level, even with the longer quarters, and 4 in that span is not going to get it done. Boston has 3, which is still not fantastic, but 4 is not going to get it done.
3 of 16. Toronto has hit 3 shots, and I'm pretty sure 2 of them have just been at the rim. It's been only 1 jump shot.
But see, also at the rim, I mentioned Tice a moment ago, and he's continuing to play really well. He's putting in big minutes for the Celtics here. He's been basically every time there's been a challenge or a miss at the rim, Tice has been there, either getting the block or getting the rebound, and in at least one case, both. He's put in a really good opening quarter for the Celts.
Yeah, phenomenal play there so far by Tice, who is just sort of the do-it-all for the Celtics. Coming out of commercial timeout here in just over 60 seconds. We said in our pregame that Boston was going to need to get back to its, let's say, its its shooting ways, right there. The number of 3-point shots that Boston has made in this series has been declining game over game. They came out, hit a few of them early, but still they're only 2 of 7. Even though they got off to a promising start with Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. We'll have to keep an eye on that stat as the game goes on. In their 2 losses, they've hit less than 10 3-pointers, and the wins for in the wins for the Celtics, they've hit 15 or more. So quite a different gap there.
But they're also getting an advantage on points off turnovers. I mentioned that the turnover count wasn't fantastic. The points off turnovers tally at the moment is 5-0. So they're forcing errors. They're making Toronto shoot even worse, and they're getting transition baskets off those mistakes. So defensively, Brad Stevens will be extremely happy. Maybe offensively, not quite so much. But when you're up double digits in the first, there's not too much to complain about.
Yeah, and I wouldn't complain that much about you will make or miss shots, right? But and here's the stat about the 3-pointers right here, being shown by the TNT crew. You will make or miss shots, but the defense needs to be consistent because that's something that's sort of always in your control.
Yeah, you're always able to control the amount of effort you put in, and there's no shortage of effort from the Boston Celtics in the first 9 minutes.
And resuming play here in the bubble, just under 3 minutes to go. It's Kemba, Wanamaker, Tice, Tatum, and Ogilvy.
Van Vliet back in for Toronto.
Yes, and we will watch him with the 2 fouls as Ogilvy tries to get a corner 3 from the right side, but that won't drop for him. And so it's a rebound to the Raptors, and Van Vliet now going baseline. And just kind of going around the world with it here for a second. Anunoby, step back jump shot. Ooh, that one does go. Anunoby is the only one that's hit a shot for Toronto?
It might well be. He certainly hit the first one.
Well, he's got 7 and Toronto has 9. So we'll figure out for a sec. Oh, Ibaka's the other one's got 2 off the bench. Tatum dribbles himself into a double team and from the outside. Wanamaker for 3.
danger signs for Toronto if Boston starts nailing those shots, because they've got a bunch of very capable shooters, and Toronto just walking through treacle at the moment on offense.
As Jason Tatum almost steals the ball from Van Vliet, but there will be a reach-in foul called by Wanamaker. What is treacle?
Molasses.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is good. All right. Say today we learned.
Well, I don't think they're exactly the same, but in terms of consistency and in terms of the ease of walking through it, they're about the same.
Oh, there you go. Is it also made from a sugary compound?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is it used to make rum?
Uh, no, I don't think so.
Oh, there you go. And some other type of alcoholic drink, perhaps?
Well,
Uh,
rum is kind of our state spirit. There's a couple of distilleries down near Brisbane.
oh, there. Sounds delicious. Kemba tries to shoot three from the right-hand corner, and he was walking away from that shot like he thought he was going to get it, but it doesn't go.
It was well short.
Yeah, it was. On the other side, Anunoby for three, and he can't hit one either. Tatum is just going to drive in alone, but there's going to be a foul on the floor on Powell called before the start of Tatum's drive. Now, remind me, wasn't the Anunoby three-pointer like one of the first that he's hit in a long time?
I think something like that. It's not the focal point of his game.
No, it's not.
I don't remember the exact stat on that one. Kyle Lowry coming back in. 2 fouls for Van Vliet and now 2 fouls for Powell. So the guard rotation for Toronto taking a bit of a hit.
Boston just got to stay aggressive here and keep driving. 50 seconds left in the first, and Toronto doesn't even have 10 points. Boston got to be thrilled with the defense that it's been playing, but Toronto has been sort of complicit in that as Van Vliet, his three-point shot is way off again. Oh boy. Tatum going in, driving, Euro step. Tatum off glass, and it goes. 25 points for Boston, 30 seconds.
And back-to-back baskets for Tatum in consecutive possessions.
Oh, Lowry
he had the elbow jumper on the other one.
Yeah. This is a smart play by Lowry. He's going to get himself to the bench here. Not to the bench, to the free throw line, rather, as Robert Williams gets caught in the air and called for the foul. And I guess if Toronto can't score from anywhere on the floor, they better score from the free throw line.
Yeah, and that's one way to get yourself back in the game. Just try and create opportunities just to settle the pace. Take a moment to compose yourself. Just take a couple of very easy free throws and go from there.
Derek, Twitch chat wants to know what the weather's like down under.
It is glorious. It is spring weather here in North Queensland. Not cloudy at all today. I've got getting up to 28 Celsius.
28 Celsius.
Which is 75 in old-fashioned numbers.
There you go. Tatum going to hold this for the last shot. 10 seconds. No shot clock to worry about. And Tatum's going to get the screen by Kemba. It looks like this is going to be the Tatum show here, working on Powell. Tatum, step back, jump shot, three-pointer. Ooh, held the follow-through there. It looked good for a second, but it is long. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of one. Ties the fewest points in any quarter in a wow. Oh, no, in franchise history. I thought for a second there it was going to say across the entire NBA.
No, but certainly the lowest in the Raptors playoff history. 25-11. And you could argue Boston hasn't been fantastic offensively, but defensively they've been really good. They've just been in control of that tempo, and they've been by far the better team, and the scoreboard reflects it.
And so give me the stats that you're liking here that sort of give us the tail of the tape, if you will.
I mean, 9 for 20 for Boston is not fantastic. But just looking at the comparative stats, Toronto only shooting 20% for the game. That's the story. No other stat matters if you can't shoot 20%. And 11 from 3. That'll be 1 for 9 at this point. 5 assists to 2. Rebound count, Boston, slightly ahead, +3. Shot blocks, 2-0 Boston. and then points off turnovers 7-0 Boston. So it's just a defensive story. Toronto can't hit shots and sometimes can't hold on to the ball long enough to get shots in the air. And so for Boston, you'd be extremely happy with that because their shots are also starting to drop. Tatum's starting to get his eye in late in that period. And they've got a bunch of options. Boston's really deep, surprisingly deep.
Yep.
Probably the deepest team left in the East. Miami is good, but I don't think they're as deep as Boston.
Really? Oh man, I feel like people well, so because we've done a lot of the Miami games. Well, maybe it is just like the like Hero off the bench, and he played a phenomenal game. Even in the loss, there he had some 3-pointers there in the fourth quarter in overtime, which basically kept them in it. But I guess Hero's the sixth man. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he'd be the sixth man for Miami.
I'm looking through their roster here because yeah, Iguodala none, like not really. Crowder starts for them. Derek Jones has played really good defense. Don't know what happened to Olynyk. He's kind of been a ghost since game one. All right, so I'll give that to you. Yeah, actually, yes. So Celtics definitely deepest team left in the East because Lord knows it certainly isn't Milwaukee.
Well, certainly not with Giannis questionable for tomorrow. But the other thing with Toronto, just coming back to this game, Toronto basically only ran a 7-man rotation in game 4. Matt Thomas played 3 minutes late, but otherwise they only played 7 players for the whole game, whereas Boston got minutes out of 9, and all 9 of those players played at least 11 minutes. And the guy who played the least was Semi Ojeleye, and he still had 7 points and 3 rebounds. So
yep.
Boston can go a lot deeper than Toronto can here. They've got to rely a bit less on their stars than the Raptors do.
Yeah, and still...
he's coming back with the talking defense as well.
Yeah, exactly, as you called it. It's there's the Kemba and the Tice block. You mentioned Tice's excellent defense here. There's the replay of him working on Kyle Lowry, a smaller guard. He's able to defend him. And Brad Stevens in the interview here, what is Brad saying?
Yeah, he's basically saying they're getting good looks, and that's that's essentially what we've been thinking here. They're taking good shots, they're just not making them.
Oh my goodness, block!
And then more defense.
More defense by Williams off the bench, Derek, exactly as you're saying. It's for Boston. You can put any of them in there, and they are contributing with the minutes that they're given. And Tatum's going to try to split a double team. He's going to get it outside to Brown again. Brown for 3. Now, I was confused there for a second because Kemba was wearing the yellow shoes in a few games earlier, and now it is Brown with the yellow shoes. And finally, Toronto hits a 3-point shot.
It badly needed that.
Kemba is also wearing yellow shoes, although I suppose they might be more lime green at this point. Kemba with a jab step and a jump shot, and he puts the Celtics up to 30 now here early in the second.
Yeah, did I just see that Tatum was in double figures? That shot goes in the air from Lowry. He doesn't make that one.
Tatum's only got 4.
No, Jaylen Brown is in double figures.
Brown, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I know somebody's hit.
Yes,
10
Brown
points in 10 minutes.
As Boston puts up an air ball, and yeah, that did not end well.
No, something about that play went drastically wrong because the two players are sort of laughing about it as they come back down the floor.
As Brad Stevens was just looking like completely confused on the sideline.
That isn't funny. That's not funny, fellas.
Yeah. Yeah, coach taking it a bit more serious than the players on the sideline as Siakam hits a straight-on jump shot there for 2. And Kemba driving in. This was decent defense here by Ibaka, denying Kemba a lane to the basket. Kemba's going to drive on him again. He's going to have to think about a step-back jump shot. No, passes it to Tatum. Oh, my goodness. Tatum got Powell up in the air, and Van Vliet. Third foul on Van Vliet right there.
And it's a shooting foul, so 3 shots here for Tatum.
Oh my. He does swipe him on the arm.
Trying a little bit too hard there to get back into the play.
Yeah,
You've already
Van
got the guy
Vliet.
out of. You've already got him out of rhythm by getting that first deflection. Going back for the second one is where the foul was called.
Van Vliet's already lost, kind of. He already lost, right, when he went for the swipe and the gamble. And then he
Mm.
just makes it worse.
But even then, you've got the shooter out of rhythm because they've had to land and reset. So if he goes up immediately again, that's not a fantastic shot. You'd probably live with that. I mean, you're still getting a 3-point shot in the air, but you're disrupting his motion. You're taking him out of rhythm, and then you go back in and hack him over the arm and give him 3 free throws.
Yep, total bailout there. Tatum manages to hit all 3.
I think all 3. He's up to 7.
Yep.
And Boston doubling Toronto up here.
Powell now going to have to. No, Van Vliet is still in the game. Wow, this is sort of dangerous here as Powell hits for 3. Much needed 3-pointer. Any points at this point are much needed for Toronto as they still trail by 14.
And in the second quarter, they just have to get some good shots.
Kemba from deep. No good there. And if you're the Celtics, what you don't want to do is give quick bad shots. Because the bad shot is the first pass in your opponent's fast break, as it was there. But the Raptors aren't able to capitalize. Kemba trying to cut baseline. But it's Williams that is going to get a foul called.
No, it's on Lowry before the pass.
Oh, it's on okay, it's on Lowry. Foul on the floor. Tatum's the one that drew the foul on Lowry. So some more
Marcus
foul
Smart coming
trouble.
back in. See, I can do a Boston accent because it sounds like an Australian accent. Marcus Smart coming back in for the Celts.
I wonder how that came to be. Oh boy. All right. Smart, and there you go. You want that one with the accent there?
Marcus Smart straight to Harvard Yard.
There you go. For 2 with the right hand.
Easy driving finger roll though there for Smart.
Ibaka down low, the turnaround over the shorter Wanamaker, and Ibaka finishes quickly and easily.
Serge Ibaka also up to 7 points for this one.
Great contribution from him off the bench, as it is Tatum now working on Ibaka. Finds Smart. Pass back outside to Wanamaker, screened by Tatum. Rescreen? No, just the pass to Tatum. Tatum's going to have to make it happen with less than 3 seconds on the shot clock. Oh my goodness, the 3-pointer was halfway down. That would have been a tremendous shot by Tatum. Lowry driving on Wanamaker, and Wanamaker concedes the 2 again.
Not bad defense to stay in front of him and not give up the foul.
And Tatum gets it right back.
Nobody wants to get in his way.
I wouldn't either. 9 points, so he's almost in double figures as that's a cheap foul. Cheap foul as Van Vliet drives in. And the foul called against Jason Tatum.
But 9 points and 7 rebounds for Tatum, and we're only 16 minutes into the game.
So where is he anywhere on the assists side of the score sheet, or?
We might be on triple-double watch at this rate.
Yeah.
Three assists, so
maybe.
Anunoby back in for the Raptors, replacing Serge Ibaka.
Inbound here for the Raptors to Van Vliet, who's still playing despite his 3 fouls. Just confirm, yes, it is in fact 3. As he drives right, finishes with the right hand, and score the bucket for Van Vliet.
That's only his first basket of the game as well. That foul trouble has sort of taken him out of his rhythm.
Toronto looking a little better this quarter. They've scored 14 points in 5 minutes, and in the first 12 minutes they only scored 11, so they're already on pace.
Great lob pass into Brown there. Had a great position underneath. They were never going to stop him that deep once he'd caught the ball.
And they're being extremely efficient. 12 points in 14 minutes. Brown is just playing like a man possessed right now. In the corner, Anunoby, that three-point shot is no good. The shot's still not quite. Something is just a little bit off. And there's an easy turnover and strip in transition. Oh my goodness, what a defensive play by Smart.
Fleet with the hesitation dribble, and then he's stripped by Smart in transition with Smart backpedaling. That's a great defensive play.
Incredible. Wow. Saves the possession there for Boston. If Boston can capitalize, yes, they will. Wanamaker with a drive and the finish in the right is a 4-point swing right there. Oh, so disheartening.
Not to get the end one as well, but yeah, good play by Wanamaker, but great defense by Smart at the other end to start that play.
Brown trying to get into the defensive game. Oh, what a cheeky pass by Lowry. Perhaps a foul on Anunoby, but it's not called. And Siakam almost walks with it. Powell for three doesn't go. Lowry just hustles to the rebound as bodies have hit the floor. Anunoby is down, and Williams is no.
I think it's Williams is the other player in that tangle.
Yeah,
that was a long way from the rebound. They were in no position to get that ball. And I think the refs are going to talk about it just because it was so far away from the play. I think they were sort of jockeying for position for the rebound. But they're up at the free throw line, and the rebound just went straight along the baseline.
Yeah.
So the refs might not have got a clear look at that. They might go to video. Toronto's been charged for a timeout here, and I think Nick Nurse might have deliberately called that one. I don't think that's a mandatory. League Pass is just giving us a shot of the Celtics huddle for the moment, so we'll see what transpires. We'll see what comes up on the play-by-play feed down the bottom. Brown up to 12 and 2 in 15 minutes. Jason Tatum 9 and 7. 3 assists for actually Marcus Smart 5, 3 and 3 in 12 minutes. Toronto's shooting has improved to 30% as opposed to 20 at quarter time.
Hey, anything is better than what was going on before. Bright spot for both teams, actually, is that they've all hit all their free throws. 7 of 7 for the Celtics and 2 of 2 for Toronto. Toronto 3 of 16 from the three-point line, but the Celtics actually not faring that much better. So the Celtics unable, at least in the early going, to use the three-point line as a differentiating factor in the game so far.
No, but they've had a lot of success. Wanamaker, Tatum, Brown getting to the basket, and that will soften up the defense for the three-point shot later on. So that's worked well for the Celtics so far. And Toronto hasn't had an answer yet. They haven't been able to stop those drives and stop that scoring in the paint. Do we get a stat for points in the paint? Not that I can see. I probably have to bring up a shot chart.
I got one. We got 20 for the Celtics to 10 for the Raptors. So doubling them up, actually.
Not a surprise. But yeah, they've just been driving, forcing Toronto to try and make plays. It's got the guards into foul trouble. It's got 20 extra points on the board. And yeah, that will open up the perimeter later on because Toronto is going to be thinking drive. And that might be something Nick Nurse will have to emphasize in the timeout, just saying, hey, these guys can shoot. Don't close out. I'm sorry, don't sit back and wait for the drive. You might have to close out on them because they can still take that shot.
Getting ready to come out of the media timeout here.
Yeah, Toronto's just broken the huddle.
Okay. Yep, and they were going to the monitor, I believe, right?
I thought they were headed to the monitor on that one. The referees were talking at half court. Marc Gasol back in for Toronto.
Inbound here, and it is Wanamaker still playing point guard for the Celtics. Tice, what a pass down low to Tatum. And Tatum, gets blocked by the rim. He just got stuck underneath. Van Vliet driving. Van Vliet still in the game despite the 3 fouls. Ooh, Siakam almost stripped of the ball. Lowry does. The pass is intercepted by Tatum and went right into his hands. It's a 3-on-2 by the Celtics. This should be a foul. This should be a foul on Siakam, and it is. Wanamaker puts the shot up here. Lowry kind of gets caught on his way to the basket, just hands it to Tatum. Did he?
Yeah, ran out of room and just trying to kick it out.
How did he not see him? That does not make any sense to me, but okay. Wanamaker at the free throw line makes the first.
It's an odd thing. You sort of see a defender in front of you and you don't quite realize, how tall they are or how quick they can react. But yeah, it's a pass that's very quickly picked off there by Tatum.
Derek, this game is kind of going the way of the of that game 2 for the Nuggets and the Clippers, where the Nuggets just came out and sort of blitzed LA. We'll talk about it more at halftime. But, it put up a huge first quarter and then just really never looked back. They were kind of in control the entire game, start to finish from there.
Yeah, if you can put the runs on the board, then the other team's got to chase you. And at that point, you can just control the tempo. And as long as you don't give up any major runs yourself, you've got that cushion.
And exactly what they're doing there. Tatum nails the 3, and then Toronto, lazy on the inbounds pass, just turns it over. Toronto 0 points in the last 5 minutes, but Marcus Smart, I don't know what the heck he's trying to do there with a no-look behind the back pass that goes off of Kyle Lowry's foot. That is exasperating.
Not a turnover, but probably not the play they drew up.
No. Oh my gosh, as Tice throws it at the feet of Tatum, and Tatum gets called for a foul. All right, sloppy play here for the Celtics, too.
Yeah, lazy pass by Tice.
Yeah. And called on a foul as Anunoby hits the deck.
That's 3 on Tatum as well.
Oh, that's why he reacted that way. Well, Tatum is in double figures, but that is his 3rd foul, so he will go to the bench. Van Vliet with 3 will keep trying to take 3s and keep missing 3s. Still can't do anything, poor guy. This is kind of like game 1 where he didn't hit his first 3-pointer until like the 4th quarter after jacking up like 15 of them. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's been a rough night so far. And then foul here on Anunoby. So we're at the 4:20 mark of the second period. Boston up 21. And in the bonus, 46-25.
So they will shoot the remainder of the way here. And Tice does hit his 2 free throws.
And we got a bit of video there of the Clippers arriving for the second half of TNT's doubleheader. Clippers Nuggets, the nightcap this evening.
Tice defending Van Vliet, pulled all the way out to the 3-point line. Van Vliet going to drive. Decent defense by Tice, but he will get called for the foul.
It's a better play by Van Vliet. They showed us that clip of Tice defending Lowry at the perimeter, and Lowry just tried to shoot over him. You've got that sort of speed and agility mismatch. Take him on, and it's good aggressive play even with the 3 fouls from Van Vliet, because you figure Tice is probably going to have to concede on that one.
Van Vliet in the wins has been averaging 12 points, in the losses 8. Field goal percentage significantly different, 43% to 32. In the 3-point percentage that we talked about, probably the biggest difference in the stats, a full 12 percentage points of difference there in the 3-point shooting as well.
Yeah, when he's on, the Raptors are on, and possibly the other way around.
Oh my goodness, that was a beautiful pass inside. You actually didn't even see the ball. Kemba Walker in between 3 Toronto Raptors manages to find Marcus Smart, and Marcus Smart flushes the 13-2 run in the last 4 minutes for the Celtics as the shot from Van Vliet still can't go. No passes there, no ball movement, just playing a bit of hero ball and can't get it to fall. Wanamaker here for three, no. Rebound down to Siakam as the Toronto Raptors are now pushing down by 23. Van Vliet to Gasol to Anunoby. Anunoby spinning on Brown. Blocked from behind by Tice. A beautiful play on the defensive end. Wanamaker to Smart. Smart for 3. Swish it! Woo!
Defense to offense, and Tice is continuing to play well.
Timeout, Toronto.
Unsurprising.
Van Vliet is on the floor and has lost a shoe. The wheels and the shoes coming off here for the Raptors.
Yeah, Van Vliet might have got flat tired on the way up the floor, but we had a replay of the block from Tice there. He's played really well defensively. He's been the anchor for the Celtics defense, and that's translated into points at the other end.
Yeah, now
53-27.
Now 2 significant blocks here for the Celtics, being facilitated by Tice, actually. All right, so I guess this will be, well, I guess technically if the Raptors had to take this, but it would have been one of the two's media timeout, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know if Boston's called one. No, they haven't. They called one in the first period. They've still got 6 on my tally.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Boston might have one taken off them at the half if they don't call one, but they don't really want to call timeout at the moment. They
don't need it. Boston definitely doesn't need anything like a timeout right now. They're playing phenomenally well. Everybody getting involved.
The only thing Brad Stevens wants from his players is their halftime drinks order. That'd be it, because they are rolling.
We have 3 Celtics in double figures. Tatum with 12, Smart with 10 after that 3-point shot, and Brown with 12. Tatum, however, with the 3 fouls, finds himself on the bench, presumably for the remainder of the half. Tice also with 2, but that's really all the foul trouble for the Celtics roster.
And 5 blocks for the Celtics, none for Toronto.
12 assists.
Yeah, and 12 assists to 6, so not just a higher number, but way more effective offensively. 12 assists on 18 makes.
Yeah, and actually, so you brought up the turnovers, that how in the first, the Raptors had 4 turnovers. They only have 7. They have 7 now. Just kind of like average for an NBA game, but 4 steals on the side of the Celtics.
Yeah, the Celtics are doing well to force errors, and they're capitalizing. Again, 9 points off turnovers, the stat at the moment, none for Toronto. I mean, if you take the 9 points off Boston, it's still in command, but
yeah,
it's adding insult and injury.
Points in the paint slightly increasing for the Boston Celtics, 22 for them to 10 for the Toronto Raptors. And I think this is the fast break points that you just mentioned, right? The 11 for the Celtics. So you were mentioning the points off turnovers, but some of those have just turned into runouts.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can have obviously a shot that counts as fast break and points off turnovers, but yeah, Boston forcing mistakes, punishing mistakes. Defensively, they've been fantastic, and that's translated to points on the board. And again, Toronto 27 points in 21 minutes. That's just not going to cut it. We get a bit of a graphic there about Gordon Hayward's injury. We haven't seen him in this game. Obviously, he's missed a few after missing the Philadelphia series with the ankle injury, but Boston's still rolling. They're not in. They would obviously
Yeah.
love to have him back as the option, but at the moment,
Tice playing a little bit of football there on the dead ball. Yeah, and so
kick ball, ref.
Hayward will not be back until he's got 4 days of quarantine he has to go through when he enters the bubble. So they can't, and they just got him back yesterday, so they can't really have him before the weekend, even if they wanted to.
Yeah, so that would imply he misses tonight. He'll miss game 6, very likely miss game 7 if needed. But then they would have him available for the conference finals if Boston gets that far.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what the play here is. Great defense down low by Brown, but it's just better offense by Siakam as he gets a much needed Toronto bucket.
Yeah, played him strong, but Siakam good enough to make that hook shot.
Only 24-point lead as Smart gets 2 Raptors to come to him. One of them goes flying. Siakam goes flying and leaves a very, very wide open Brown for 3.
The under 14s coach in me is furious at that play. He can't bite on those fakes.
Yeah, Tice working on Lowry. Lowry gets the soft roll here.
Final 2 minutes of the first half. And Boston holding 25.
Smart guarded by Powell, trying to cross him over. He gets down low. Good hands by Lowry. He just pops the ball out of Smart's hands. And Smart kind of pleading his case to the ref and needs to get down the floor. Toronto can't finish it. 2 misses right at the rim, and Jaylen Brown is diving in and going with the right. And gone. Another 4-point swing.
That's the story of the game there. Toronto had a good shot. Powell getting into the, straight to the basket. Defensively, they're up to the challenge, and up the other end, Toronto just has the ball rammed straight down their throat.
Oh, and Celtics here. I think Lowry stepped out of bounds is the call, but the Celtics wanted to continue playing because Tice ended up with the ball. It would have been a steal.
Yeah, foul's actually on Tice on that one. They've called him for the reach, which is why Tice is less happy. No, they've called him for the... Now, that's what he's complaining about. Tice has been called for the block there, but he wanted Lowry called for the hook.
Ah, okay.
Because Lowry hooked with that left arm trying to get around him baseline.
Yeah.
Both teams in the penalty.
Yeah. Lowry now going to the free throw line here.
Misses the second free throw. So a 26-point. Every time I read out the score, the lead is going up.
Yeah, the lead
advantage.
Just keeps going. Just keeps going there for the Celtics.
And then Jaylen Brown makes it worse.
And Toronto just can't buy it. Just can't buy it right now. Whew.
Might just be trying a bit too hard on that one. They're getting to the basket and they're forcing up shots down low, but the Celtics just not giving up cheap fouls.
Toronto can't even get the rebounds to work.
Yeah, they're fighting amongst themselves now for rebounds.
Yeah. Question. So YouTube wanted to introduce. I'm Ritz, for part of the Relive crew, and it's Derek down in Australia, actually. So we're broadcasting from both the United States and Australia.
Both sides of the Pacific.
Yes. We've got multiple time zones covered. I guess we'll need somebody in Europe too, and then we could cover the whole globe. Probably nighttime for them at this time, I would guess.
Almost coming up to 1 a.m. In Britain, so almost midnight GMT.
Yeah, there you go. Wild shot there by Kemba, almost intercepted by Jaylen Brown. A 3-point shot does go for Toronto.
They needed that badly.
They need just about everything they can get at the moment. Matt Thomas, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, number 21 out of Iowa State. And this was actually the end of the second effectively here. So Kemba does get it to go. I think that will count.
They'll review that, but it's on the board at the moment.
It is.
I think it's good. I think that'll stand. It won't be a very
Kemba.
long review.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. This will absolutely stand by Kemba. And
Yeah,
there you have it.
not even
62
close in the end.
35. I mean, Derek, it's just that kind of night for the Celtics, right? Like,
just they've started to build momentum, and it's just everything is working. Shooting better, defending better. It's all coming from the defense. That's the really big thing that Brad Stevens will be happy about. Defensively, the Celtics have been everywhere, and that's translated into points. And Toronto's just forcing things. You know, I talked about it a moment ago, just driving to the rack and trying to make things happen, trying to force the issue. And Boston's remained composed, not giving up cheap fouls, making good defensive plays, making good passes, just textbook stuff, fundamentals that Boston are getting right. And Toronto probably not doing that badly, but once shots start to not drop, you just start to get frustrated, and I think that's happening to Toronto. They're just not clicking, and it's only gotten worse as the game's gone on.
yeah, it has. It's sort of snowballed out of control, actually, for the Toronto Raptors. The shooting started with 11 points in the first half, 25 to
Yeah,
11.
Toronto were 1 for 12 at one point.
And it's not really that much better. They're only 13 made shots, so they're shooting 30%, 22% from beyond the 3-point line. Meanwhile, Boston's shooting 55% from the floor. Whew. And
Yeah, and pretty much all of the stats are, the lines are all green on the app. It's all Boston. So, rebound count +6, defensive rebounds +10, blocks +4, points off turnovers. Again, I've harped on that, but points off turnovers 9-0 Boston, and then the foul count, pretty even 10-9 against Toronto, but some key personnel in foul trouble for the Raptors. Fred VanVleet picking up 3 very quickly. Norman Powell on 2. I think there was one other player on a bit of foul trouble there as well.
Yeah, and Boston just doing, as you said, all the things right. 11 out of 11 from the free throw line, and so even when they're hitting their free throws when they need to, and that's they're just keeping the lead out. They're just keeping the lead extended. It was a 37-24 second period. Boston only put up 25 in the first quarter, but put up 37 here in the second. And now Boston has a commanding 27-point lead over this game at the moment.
And Boston, I mean, they took Jason Tatum out of the game with the 3 fouls.
Yep.
He's on 12. He was their leading scorer, I think, at that point. Jaylen Brown has 16 now. And Daniel Tice has got 3 fouls as well. But they haven't missed a beat taking those 2 players out. They're getting contributions from everyone.
Well, as you mentioned, Boston, one of the deepest teams in the playoffs, certainly the deepest team in the East. I think we've basically, conceded that one. So anybody can just pick up and sort of go. It's one of the major advantages of Boston's team. You don't, on any given night, you don't really know who's going to hurt you especially from the 3-point line, or who's going to step up.
Yeah, and they haven't gone too deep into the bench so far, but they've got good minutes. They had Ogilvy come in and play about 4 minutes. Robert Williams, the third, came in 4.5 minutes, 1 rebound, 1 block. So with having to take Tice off the floor momentarily, they didn't lose anything defensively. They've just been on top. They've dominated every aspect of the game so far. They've looked like the team that came out in games 1 and 2.
Yep.
Definitely the team that came out in game 1.
Absolutely. As we've hit the halftime here, A couple topics to discuss. Let's look around the rest of the NBA because there are three other series going on at the moment. The Bucks and the Miami Heat. The Milwaukee Bucks finally managing to get a game back and now only find themselves down 3-1. Remember, no team has come back from a 3-0 deficit, but Milwaukee making a run of it. So this after their star player and defensive MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo leaves the game early in the second with a sprained right ankle. Granted, the Bucks needed overtime to do it, but they did get it done 118 to 115. Is there any hope for Milwaukee?
No. Next question. The I've just suddenly come over all Stephen A. Smith. The I mean, the Bucks were able to rally. You sometimes find that you lose a star player, or somebody goes down to injury, and you sort of rally around them. You can muster that enthusiasm and that emotion and make that work for you. Short term, I don't think they can do it 4 times in a row. And if Antetokounmpo can't play tomorrow, that's going to make it really tough. I think the Bucks don't go further than tomorrow. If he
Yes.
can't play, they just don't have the depth.
So when we called the game on Friday, right, it looked like Giannis may have had a bit of a knee issue in the right knee on Friday, and then he goes down again with the ankle. Um, wasn't quite looking himself in the game three.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were talking about it because he was having success driving, but he seemed reluctant to do so. He was more
yeah,
than happy to settle at the perimeter and not use that speed and that size. And then, yeah, only played 11 minutes yesterday.
yeah, because
So,
he went like what 0 for 6 from free point range in the game three,
mm,
and then it was just so bizarre. Giannis still not ruled out for game five, despite the ankle that we were talking about there.
I
But
think they give him right up until the national anthem to prove fitness.
yeah, I don't even. Yeah, I sort of depending like would you play him? Would you not? If he's questionable, I suppose you. I mean, you got to put everybody out there to try to win. But
Mm.
honestly, I don't know if Giannis has been the Bucks' best player. I actually think it's been Middleton, and Middleton was the one that stepped up big.
Yeah, he was fantastic in that game yesterday, and they're going to need that help. If Giannis isn't at 100%, like if you clear him to play, Giannis at 80 is better than Giannis at 0.
Yeah, sure.
But he's going to need that scoring help because Miami can put points on the board quite quickly, um, and they've looked really good this series. So they need Middleton to contribute.
And yeah, almost Tyler Hero almost almost was able to go blow for blow with Middleton there towards the end with the 3-point shots. He's been playing phenomenally well for Miami. Love his game there, especially coming off the bench. Um,
He's been a find for them
he
out of
really
the
has.
draft. He's done really well his first season.
I like. I was trying to think back to last season in Kentucky, and I did watch some of their games, but like he didn't really stand out to me at the time. But he's played tremendously well in the playoffs. Interestingly enough, here, so Jimmy Butler talked about the loss. He says that he does think that his team sort of relaxed a bit when Giannis left the court. What are your thoughts on that?
Possibly true. I didn't see the whole game yesterday because of other commitments, but that can be a thing too. You feel, oh yeah, the star's gone out. We don't have to work quite so hard. But there's still 5 guys being paid an awful lot of money to try and beat you. You still got to take it seriously. You've got to close games out. Um, and yeah, I think they got to not necessarily a wake up call, but just a little bit of a lesson. You can't slack off at any point in the NBA playoffs because somebody is going to take advantage of it. And you're just lucky that that slacking off game came against a team that's already 3-0 down and struggling.
Yeah.
If you're struggling off against a team in a game 7, or you're struggling against, say, the game 2 LA Lakers, then yeah, that's not going to end well.
No, no, it's not. It was kind of odd coming from Miami too. A team that's just like been so together and they've been so on it. They've looked so good in the first couple
Mm.
games against the Bucks, the number one seed of the East. Miami's first loss actually in the playoffs. They were 7-0 up to that
Yes,
point.
yeah. 7-game winning streak after they lost the final game of the seeding round to Indiana.
Yep.
and then beat Indiana 4 times in a row.
All right, let's flip conferences because there's been some interesting storylines in the West. Those series kicking off a little later rather than the Eastern Conference, just because of how the first round games ended up going. Remember, Utah and the Nuggets ended up going a full 7. Um,
Yeah, and OKC and Houston went to 7.
yes, as well. So this is the sort of the two LA teams that we thought was going to dominate um, have looked a little vulnerable actually in their first 2 games. The Lakers dropping game 1 to the Rockets, and this was we talked about the whole small ball Houston versus Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and how like that team really doesn't have anybody that's can physically match up with them. But you did mention that if everything goes right for Houston and they start hitting shots one night, well, yes, they could win one. And that's essentially what they did.
Yeah, and the commentators on ESPN actually compared that Houston team. They're talking to LeBron James about it, and they compared them to the uh, St. Louis Rams team that was known as the greatest show on turf, because they work really quickly. They run that sort of 7-second offense, and they try and maintain not just the outside shooting, but the pace of the game. They don't sit there and sort of back down in the low block for 20 seconds at a time. And that might have taken the Lakers off guard in that first game. And even yesterday in game 2, the Lakers were up double digits in that first half.
Yep.
Houston clawed it back to take the lead in the third.
Yep.
And then the Lakers just went back to the well in the fourth, and that worked out. But Houston made a run at them in that second game. So even though the Lakers won it, and you look at the score sheet and it shows double digits, the Lakers arguably weren't convincing in that one. Houston would still think they've got a crack at this.
Yes, to your point, the Lakers were up 21 points, and then they gave up 41 in the third to go down by 2 at one point. But then, as you mentioned, it's just a healthy diet of James and Davis. And you saw this in the first round series where the Lakers needed to go and close out a game. They just went back to Anthony Davis, who's bigger and stronger and basically better than anybody in the court, and he just took over because nobody can guard him.
We've got about 3 minutes on the halftime clock too.
Nice. All right. The other interesting piece was in game 1, Westbrook had put up 24 points. So Houston getting lots of contributions in game 1, 36 points for Harden, 24 from Westbrook, and then 23 from Gordon. But Westbrook in game 2 was down at 10 points. So I feel like we've seen this before when Westbrook doesn't play well and just starts taking this high volume of shots. His teams struggle.
Yeah, and to some extent, that's the design of the Rockets' offense. They want a lot of shots going up, and maybe it's just a matter of Westbrook having to find, because they've got no shortage of capable shooters. So you try and find a Harden, or you try and create for a Tucker or a Gordon, and just try and dish out those shots a bit more evenly. If Westbrook gets no points but 10 assists, maybe Houston wins that game. So it's just a matter of me sitting here on the other side of the ocean telling Russell Westbrook what to do. But I think he can still contribute, and he's been off his game a bit coming back from the injury, but he's still dangerous even when he's not making shots, because he's able to create. And yeah, it could be just like Jimmy Butler in that game the other day. You just need a couple of plays to go your way, and then suddenly the confidence is up and shots start dropping.
The next game coming up here on TNT, for those of us here in the States, or League Pass for abroad, is the...
And ESPN Pacific Rim as well.
There you go. Is the LA Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. The duo here that being shown on the screen of Jokic and Murray having a much, much better game 2 than they had in game 1. Derek, this was your exact point where even Murray admitted that the team was exhausted going into game 1, and you had called this out. That was essentially why they just got run off the court.
Yeah, he looked drained after game 7 against Utah. But there's a clip doing the rounds on Twitter of him talking to Scott Van Pelt, and Scott saying, so how do you match up with the Clippers on Thursday? And Murray just said, "What, we play Thursday?" He looked defeated before the game even started. And yeah, the Clippers played well in game one, but Denver were fantastic in game two. So that's definitely a series. It's not just that Denver, managed to claw one back. They were up significantly the whole game. They took an advantage. They held the advantage against the favored team, and that's a series. That is definitely a competitive series.
Yeah, so they blitzed them 44 points to 25 in that first quarter. So they basically found themselves up 19. Oddly enough, LA actually won the remaining three quarters, but not by any significant margin. It was like a point
Yeah, not
here, a
enough to
point,
make a dent in the
yeah, a point
in the
here, two
advantage.
points here, something like that. Murray had 27 points in game two versus his 12 from game one, where Denver got routed by 23 in that one. So definitely much better from him. And actually, Jokic and Murray outscored the Clippers by themselves in the first quarter, 26-25. This was kind of like the stat that you brought up. What was it that Jimmy Butler outscored the Bucks in game three, the quarter four of game three, right? All by
Yeah,
himself.
yeah. It was 17. It was Butler 17, Bucks 13 in the fourth quarter of game three.
Yeah. Um, so yes, as you mentioned, this one is absolutely a series. However, an storyline and perhaps an injury storyline here where Jokic questionable for game three.
Sprained wrist, I believe. So yeah,
Yes.
questionable for the next game. I suspect he will play, and then it's just a matter of how much they try to rely on him
We saw
and how
him
they
in
try and.
warm-ups just now though. So he looks like he's getting ready to go. Um, but definitely something to
Unless
keep
they
an eye on.
unless they're testing it out.
True. True. He had finished with 26 points and 18 rebounds in the game two win that evened the series there at 1-1, averaging 25 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists during the playoffs, during the sort of the entirety of the playoffs, right? So extremely important there, sidekick to Murray. Both of those have to have good games if they are to go up against the favored Clippers, let's say. So that one, we can expect it. Hopefully, a fun game coming up next. All right, just getting ready to finish the halftime. I thought my 3 minutes were up.
I thought it was, and then they put an extra bit of time on the warm up clock in venue. So
There you go.
um,
All right,
the
so
team,
if you're the Raptors, what are you talking about at halftime? Other than the fact that like it couldn't have gone much worse.
there at this point, all you've got to do is just run your sets, play sensibly, and try to chip away at the lead. The old adage of how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. All you can do is chip away and hope that you can make inroads, get the lead down to about 12 by quarter time, and then see how you go from there.
Yeah,
All you can do is run your sets and see how you go.
yeah, it's a great point. If you can bring this thing to 10 to 12 points, a 10 to 12 point lead in the fourth quarter, in a 12-minute fourth quarter is really nothing, right? So like that's should be it's doable to overcome. Right now you're
Yeah,
staring
even
at
if
a
you can get it down to
25 lead,
even
yeah.
if you can get it down to 14 or 15, you'd think we've got a shot at this.
Celtics looking to keep the defense ramped up. They want to solidify their position in this series, go up 3-2 and be in a position to close it out. And there, as you're saying, just run your sets. A nice set coming out of the halftime, and Siakam hits for two there on the mid-range jump shot. So Toronto taking one out of Coach Nielsen's playbook.
I expect my royalty check in the morning.
Van Vliet going to go from three here in transition. Van Vliet still can't hit a bucket, especially from long range. That three-point shot just not there for him in games 1 and 2, although it showed up in 3 and 4. So a huge difference for Toronto's offense there. Kemba on the other side. Kemba going to go. That's going to end up short. Kemba short from three. Celtics manning up. And they're going to call a blocking foul and one. Yes, blocking foul and one for Siakam. Brad Stevens looking for something, looking for where the call was.
I mean, it's a block. I don't know what the question is
Sort of a
there.
delayed call, though. It's like I thought that they were going to call it on the floor, but they let him finish the play.
I wonder if that's what Brad's talking about.
Because he fouls him there, and then he takes another two dribbles and finishes. It's like the block was not in the act of shooting.
No, he's still dribbling, and
Yeah.
yeah, and now they're going sideline ball, so
Okay.
they
So,
agree with us.
so they did change it because I thought, yeah, that was just odd. Gasol gets it in, and
Yeah,
that's going to be a charge. No call. Nothing. Outside shot, rebound by Siakam, and Siakam is going to put it back in for two.
I wonder if they're actually going to call a flop warning on that one because they didn't call any foul at all. I thought the
I,
defender was straight up.
I thought so too. It looked pretty good there. Maybe not as Smart almost throws this thing out of bounds, but winds up in the hands of Brown. Smart has to pull it back outside. He's only got 4 seconds. He's going to have to put a wild shot over Gasol, and that hits the near rim. And it was out of bounds. Out of bounds. So
Yeah,
Toronto will
Larry just
inbound.
escorts that out of bounds.
Yeah. Back to the sets here. You got to see Coach Nick Nurse calling it out from the sideline. Gasol denied the ball inside. Trying to get to Van Vliet. Now going to have to
Again,
make something
Tice
happen.
with the active hands knocking that loose.
Brown poking around and trying to get the ball out of Siakam's hands. Van Vliet fouled by Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart just gets caught. Can't quite move his feet fast enough to recover.
A couple of quick fouls on Smart. He's up to 3.
Tatum also with 3, but in the game, as is Van Vliet. 62-39. Celtics still out in front. And another foul. Another foul. Okay. All right. Foul on Brown. Kind of cheap fouls all over the place here.
So, how much do we like free throws?
Teams taking approximately 23 throws between them. Neither team has missed, I don't think. Oh, Toronto's missed 1. 5 of 6. Siakam going in with the reverse and gets that one to land. All right.
Good baseline move by Siakam. He's into double figures, 10 points.
6 points so far for the Raptors. Kemba. Ooh, Kemba goes in. Nice lay-in by Kemba. Gets the 2 points right back.
Hesitated just for a moment, and I think that left Gasol flat-footed.
Talking about being in double figures, Kemba finds himself in double figures now with 10. Smart on Siakam. Siakam spinning down. Good defense by Smart. Way to defend without fouling, and the rebound down to Smart.
I mean, if you can force the shooter into a fadeaway turnaround hook shot, then you haven't done a bad job.
Oh my, what a beautiful cross-court pass. Marcus Smart finds Jaylen Brown in the corner. The three-point shot is good. Goaltending.
And that's yeah. But again, I don't mind that play. That's a hustle mistake, if you like. You're trying to make the play.
I like that. Hustle mistakes.
Yeah, and you somebody's going to take Tice on next time. They're going to think twice about it because, hey, he got that one last time.
Yeah.
He can get to that block.
You don't want to let them see it go in the hoop. That's totally acceptable. Tatum talking about the 3, gets it over to Smart, and Smart kind of just dribbles himself back into a corner and turns the ball over. That was awkward. Closeout by Siakam really disrupted Smart's shot there. Van Vliet finishes with left. What a tough shot.
Off balance, low from a low angle, flicking that up with the left hand.
And we have a timeout.
That's after the play at the other end. Marcus Smart could have been called for about 3 turnovers on that possession.
I thought so, right? That just looked bizarre.
Like bad pass, travel, possibly out of bounds. But yeah, no, not convincing. But the Raptors have come out with with purpose in this second half. They've done really well this first couple of minutes, and so Boston just want to settle things down.
Toronto
timeout.
Yeah, Toronto currently leading the third quarter 10-5. Still find themselves down 22, however, so a bit more work to do, but they have been going back exactly as you said, starting with their sets, making basketball simple again, trying to get better shots, fewer jacking up of the threes.
Or just get better, get better threes. If you're going to shoot threes, make sure you're set and got a bit of room. So you run your sets and create that space. And they've done a better job all around offensively. So lead's still 22. I don't think Brad Stevens is panicking, but he definitely just wants to refocus, maybe tweak a couple of things, maybe change some matchups.
Yeah, no, I mean, this isn't panic time at all for the Celtics. If you're a Celtics fan, you are kind of loving the situation that your team finds itself in. You just want to not have what happens, what happened in game 3 obviously happened to you again.
Mm.
I think we had one of the folks in chat saying they were having nightmares about game 3 earlier today. And so those memories still fresh in the minds of the Celtics players, only happening about 4 days ago. So keep the pedal on, and you got to keep them down. They're still the defending champions, right, as you say. So
League Pass still showing us the huddles. So they haven't broken the huddles just yet.
now I've got about a minute to resume here. Just welcoming all the viewers across both platforms on the Twitch and the YouTube things. We are in the midst of game 3 here. 67-45. The Celtics in a commanding lead. Actually, in a game that I thought was going to be much, much closer than what it has turned out to be. But Boston has really asserted itself and come out on a mission here in game 5.
Yeah, certainly if you looked at 3 and 4, you'd have expected this one to be a lot closer. But
Oh.
defensively, Boston have been fantastic all night. And Daniel Tice, even coming back in this quarter, has continued that theme. Boston defensively have have tightened the screws. And yeah, okay, they've been outscored a little bit in the last couple of minutes, but that's only 1 or 2 field goals. They've still got a pretty commanding lead. They've held Toronto to 45 in that span of time. Powell coming back in for the Raptors, replacing Marc Gasol. But yeah, Boston still in control. Maybe not as tight a grip, but definitely in charge.
Replays here coming out of the timeout of the Boston defense, and just they've been in passing lanes, they've been swiping at balls, they've been just everywhere.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it a moment ago, that Daniel Tice transition block. It's called for a goaltend, but still, you're challenging the rim, you're forcing tough shots, and you're making defenders think twice about taking you on.
Toronto extending about three-quarter court pressure here, trying to force some cheap turnovers, perhaps in the backcourt, and get some easy runouts. Boston handles it nicely, and ball up ahead now to Tatum. And Smart going to drive baseline. Smart going to put up a tough shot. Not going to go, but he will find himself a trip to the free throw line. So as you mentioned earlier, how do you like free throws? Because it seems like at this rate in the third, they are...
There's going to be a lot of them. That's 3 fouls on Pascal Siakam. LJ Smith in Twitch chat, you should try doing hockey games. I actually really like ice hockey. I don't know if I've got the expertise to call it, but I do love, I think I'm the only person in Australia who watches it.
Do you guys have the equivalent of an NHL in Australia?
We have the AIHL, which is only semi-pro.
Australian Ice Hockey League?
Yeah, because we have field hockey. If you say hockey in Australia, you mean field hockey.
Oh, okay. So like played on grass.
Yeah, on AstroTurf.
AstroTurf, okay. Oh, fascinating. It is an Olympic sport, isn't it?
Yes.
Ah.
Good drive by Van Vliet there coming out of the timeout.
Yeah, we don't really have that here as Tatum drives in, but he can't finish either. Tice really scrapping for rebound. Manages to tip it out to Tatum, and so reset for the Celtics. 8 seconds on the shot clock. I don't know if Kemba sees this. He's only got 5. He's got to make it happen. Remember, the shot clock doesn't go all the way back to 24. It only goes to 14, but it doesn't matter Kemba, the step back J.
Yeah, 14 seconds, 2 seconds, doesn't matter. Kemba will take that shot.
Van Vliet gets caught down low, gets it out to Siakam. That shot is no good. I had a sense that was nowhere close the second it left his hand. Tatum thinking about three. Tatum on Siakam, screen by Tice. Gets this ahead to Smart. Smart might pass it baseline. Still a bit of a mess going on down low. Looks like Smart might have gotten pushed out of bounds. And Siakam also on the floor. Are they
Yeah,
gonna?
that's the fourth foul on Pascal Siakam.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Are they going to call this on Siakam? And it looks like they will. So that is the fourth foul on Siakam.
Replay of the step back J there from Kemba Walker.
Wasn't it game one that Siakam had 3 fouls in like the first few minutes in the first
Yeah, I think
quarter?
it was.
Yeah, right? And at that point, Fran basically was like, yeah, this game's over. Oh, what a little slip pass there. Smart to Tice, and Tice finishes down low. Great seal by Tice.
He's been in the right place at the right time all day.
Especially in the defensive end, as you keep mentioning. Now Siakam working on Tatum. Siakam trying to take Tatum left. Siakam going to have to finish right. No good there. Powell rebound on the outside, and Powell going to go for three. That shot no good either. Ooh, great hands by Brown. Brown going to try to save this, and that's a foul. It's going to be a fifth foul on Siakam, who just
And he
undercut
just
Smart.
walked straight off.
Yep.
He knew it immediately, just walked straight off the court.
I mean, he's playing hard. Give him credit, but
yeah, he was just a half step away from the ball there, and Smart got to it first.
And that, yep, the fifth personal foul for Pascal Siakam, who played a phenomenal game 4. And at this point, if it wasn't already trouble for Toronto, almost down 26, it is getting even worse as Kemba finds himself an easy lane to the bucket. And Toronto's going to almost find themselves down 30.
Yeah, so the gains of the first 5 minutes have been erased.
Great response here by the Celtics coming out of that under 8 minute media timeout. Oh my goodness! Nice little pass to Powell. Still playing hard there. Great assist by Lowry.
And pretty fundamental basketball. Drive, draw the double team, dish to the open man, goes in for the two hands.
Probably the prettiest looking play that Toronto has had all afternoon.
And the simplest.
Tice will take a mid-range jump shot right from the free throw line, and he will hit that one. Thought for a second he was going to drive it, put that on the deck, and go right. Decides to take the jump shot instead. Result is the same. 2 points there for the Celtics.
And he's up to 10.
That's a deflection, I think. Or did Lowry just lose the ball on his own?
Just lost it.
Lowry just lost it. So there's a couple things that just kind of tell you that it might be your night kind of things, right? Like the right before the end of the half, Kemba gets the shot to go with like 0.2 seconds left on the clock. Kyle Lowry just kind of loses the ball there with nobody touching it.
Yeah, the rebound on that previous play just long enough to make it to Marcus Smart so that Siakam has to give up the foul.
Yep.
Just, yeah, the bounce of the ball. It's not even the bounce of the ball really going the Celtics' way. It's just that, they run plays and they work, and Toronto runs plays and they don't. And I think, we've talked about Boston's defense. They deserve a lot of credit for the way they've played. And Boston is just controlling the tempo, controlling every aspect of the matchup at this point.
Yeah, Boston playing phenomenally well at this point, but sort of in the make or miss league, Toronto's just been missing bad. Yeah.
Just going back to the ice hockey question in the commercial break.
Oh yeah,
we're down to the final 4, I think, in the NHL. In their hub, they don't have a bubble, but the hub cities. I should do that. I'll do a couple of streams for the Stanley Cup Finals saying, teach an Australian about ice hockey. Although there is one Aussie in the NHL. Although he hasn't been in Australia for a while. He had to go to Europe when he was a kid to get any sort of experience. there's a limited number of rinks over here, so there's not many people playing the sport. But I have seen a game live. The first game, I went over to Boston in 2011, and
Oh yeah, I've been to a
I,
Bruins game as well.
I went over for PAX East, and the night before PAX East was a Bruins home game, and 5 minutes in there was a fight. that's my introduction to ice hockey.
And you were hooked from there on.
I mean, I got into it. The the video game influence is how we sort of started watching things like ice hockey and American football, because you've got Madden and
Yeah.
uh, you know everyone's got a Mega Drive and they've all got Madden or NHL. So, sorry, a Mega Drive is a Genesis for our
I
in
was
North
gonna
America.
say, wait, what? A Mega Drive?
Yeah, yeah, it was called the Genesis in North America. It's a
Yeah, the
Sega Mega
Sega.
Drive. Where, and yeah, so everyone's playing the video game, so we sort of learn the sport from there. But it would mean that if you haven't seen any NFL since the 90s, and then suddenly what the Patriots have won how many Super Bowls? They're terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, we learned about American sport from video games.
Not a bad way to learn it, I suppose.
But yeah, I might even do that. Teach an Australian about the ice hockey. I know a bit about. I mean, I can follow the sport. I don't know if I've got enough of a brain to do play by play, but
Yeah, it is one of the one I've never played it myself. But it is very entertaining to watch because it's so fast.
yeah, and it's better live. It's not
Yeah.
as good on TV.
Yeah, that I agree.
We are back in. We just had the Goodyear blimp fly off the screen on my side of things.
There we go. Yep, indeed. Oh, I am about 10 seconds behind you there. Let me
Oh,
catch up.
good. I can.
Wait, no, I'll catch up because I'll fly forward there. Yeah, so Kemba Walker, 14 points tonight on 7 of 12 shooting. Had 15 points in game 4, currently on the bench. They might not need him. They might just not need him anymore.
No, they might be playing. He might be playing limited minutes.
Yeah. It's kind of funny when he's like, oh, yeah, well, in game 5, he had as many points in the game 5 win as the other loss. But yeah, he played like half the time.
All right, I'm at 3:43 in the third. Norman Powell just hit a three for the Raptors coming out of that timeout.
Oh, wait, 328, actually.
No, that's all right. I might be able to go a bit forward.
Tice
Yeah,
is
I'm
now.
at three. Yeah, I'm at 3:28 now.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So we're synced up at live as Tice tries to go shoot one there and misses the free throw. Actually, it's the first miss for the Celtics tonight.
They've at least been good from both teams have been good from the free throw line. So if it's going to degenerate into a free throw contest, then at least they'll make shots.
Yeah, but if you're Toronto, you don't want them to.
No. Boston in the bonus for the remaining 3.5 minutes. Toronto has Boston has a foul to give.
Mm-hmm. Van Vliet bringing it up the court for Toronto finds himself down 28 points, the lead extending since halftime. And here's Powell with a 3-point shot, which just can't fall. The shot's just not going in tonight for Toronto. The 3-point shot, a big piece of their Game 3 and Game 4 wins, but the Celtics having the better of it tonight here. Tatum going in, and Tatum just finishes with the right hand. It's easy. Pretty. Too pretty. Beautiful right-handed finish by Tatum. Makes the margin 30. Wow, this is one of the bigger blowouts we've seen in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Toronto-Brooklyn series wasn't terribly well balanced at the start, but certainly in the second round, we haven't seen a margin like this.
Van Vliet goes for 3 and finally makes a shot. My guess is that is his first? Second?
think second. It'll come up
First,
for me in a moment on
one
the
of
feed.
5. Yeah, that is Van Vliet's first 3-point shot, 1 of 5 there. As Tatum tries to answer back with 3, but that hits off the front iron. Rebound down to Toronto. Ibaka
Yeah,
calling for it. Ibaka will get it off a bit of a broken play. He tries to get a 3 of his own, and that rims out on him. Double team up near the half court line, but Tatum manages to get out of it. Wanamaker's going to go straight on for 3. That shot's not going to go. Rebound down to the Raptors as Lowry's now pushing. Lowry going to go for 3 himself. Lowry line drive shot is good. 6 quick points for the Raptors here, unanswered.
Raptors still only treading water, though. They're not making serious inroads.
Yeah, remember, Boston led by as many as 30 points here in this quarter. Starters, some of the starters still in for Boston. Tatum still in. Tice still in. Lowry finds himself on the deck as Tatum draws a foul on Lowry. Lowry pleading his case there to the ref, saying that Tatum may have thrown the elbow. We'd have to look at it. Third foul on Lowry.
He did seem to throw the elbow a little bit trying to come off the screen when he started that drive. But I don't know if we're going to get a replay of that one.
Yeah, sometimes when we want the replays, they give them to us, and then other times we're like, why did you give us the replay?
It's the NBA conspiracy to not show us what's really going on.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. You know, they are in the bubble. Like, it's kind of hard to prove, you know? Is this actually what's happening?
Yeah, there's nobody with, sitting in the third back row in the corner with blurry mobile phone footage. This is proof that it was an elbow.
Right, exactly.
Teach the conspiracy. Kemba Walker back in for the Celts. 6 players in double figures.
Are they pulling off the free throw line? Was there a technical?
I think we have. It's on Lowry.
Yeah,
Still
Lowry.
complaining about that elbow.
Lowry assessed a technical foul. He's assessed a technical as he was basically just there in the lineup. Tatum misses the technical free throw, but hits the second free throw of the bonus from the foul by Lowry. So he goes 2 of 3 at the line. Gives the Celtics a 26-point margin right now. Matt Thomas going to take up a nice mid-range shot right from the free throw line and connects there. 24-point margin, 84-60. Celtics ahead. Final minute here of the third quarter. Oh man, Kemba with a killer crossover, and Kemba with the killer 3-point shot. Remember, not as aggressive as he himself wanted to be in Game 4, only taking 9 shots. He's taken 9 shots today, but he's got 17 points to show for it.
Yeah, 17 for the game for Kemba.
As the 3 by Toronto still doesn't go, hits the front iron, and gives Boston an opportunity here for another shot to go in before the quarter time. 10-second game clock, shot clock differential. Toronto brings the trap, successfully traps Kemba with the baseline and the double team. And here's Van Vliet, and Van Vliet, yes! Van Vliet's 3. Give him the second 3-pointer. And Tatum is probably going to play isolation ball and take this one himself. He's got 3 seconds to go. No, he's actually going to pass it outside to Ojeleye. Ojeleye going to get Matt Thomas in the air, and Ojele's shot is going to be just off. So no points there on the final possession for the Boston Celtics. Keep the score at 87-63. It's a 24-point margin. Toronto actually won that third quarter.
Yeah, it was a 27-point margin at halftime, but you'd argue they probably needed to make a much bigger dent in the in the lead than they did there.
Yeah, you said basically they had to take this thing down to about anywhere between 10 and 15 would have made them feel pretty good about themselves and where they were going with this. But that is nowhere close to where it is right now. So
Yeah,
not
I mean,
enough.
I mean, it's theoretically still possible. It has happened, but you wouldn't expect Boston. Certainly, they haven't taken their feet off the accelerator. They've left their starters in for the moment. You might see a couple of those guys start to get benched if they get into foul trouble or rack up the minutes. But you'd think at the moment Boston is very much in control. 3 fouls on Smart, 3 on Tatum, 3 on Tice. So
Yeah,
not really major foul trouble.
yeah, remember how
Um,
we said the importance of winning game 5. The teams that win the this game 5 when the series is tied 2-2 have a significantly better chance of winning the whole thing uh, than the teams that end up losing it. So Boston wanted to get out here and be on the right side of the statistics.
Yeah, just looking at the foul trouble on the other side of the ledger, Pascal Siakam with 5, as we saw there. Van Vliet still has that 3, so he's continued to play through that foul trouble. Kyle Lowry with 3, Ananobi with 2, Powell with 2, Ibaka with 1 off the bench, but he's played 15 minutes. But then they can't go much deeper than that. Chris Boucher's played about 3 minutes, and then Matt Thomas um, 6 minutes as well. So there's not, they just don't have that production off the bench. Boston has got 6 players with 10 points or more.
Yeah,
Jalen
Boston playing.
Brown 21, Kemba 17, Tatum 16, Smart 12, Tice 11, Wanamaker 10 off the bench.
Do we have a double double or triple double alert that we can track here in the fourth?
Very likely for Jason Tatum, 16 and 9 rebounds.
All right.
Smart has 12, 6 and 6, but I don't think he'll get to triple double territory. I suspect he'll get benched in a few minutes' time if this lead hangs around 25.
Yeah, all right. So Tatum with the double double just needs one more rebound for that. I expect he should probably have it within the first few minutes, the way that Toronto has been shooting.
Yeah, very likely.
Plenty of rebounds to go around for the Celtics. The Toronto shooting actually has come up to look somewhat like a real NBA game.
Yeah, they're up to 39 from 20 at the quarter time break. But Boston's still shooting 54.4. It was 55.1 at half time. So they're not stopping the Celtics. It's only slightly gone down.
Yeah, and I mean it's just a question of just straight up better shooting. Toronto has gotten more shots, like the volume of shots for Toronto, 64 shots, and only the Celtics have only taken 57. But they're winning the 3-point battle. They're winning at the free throw line. They've made 11 more free throws than the Raptors, and
And,
they've made 7 more buckets off fewer shots.
and Toronto's cleaned up the turnovers as well. They've only had one since about midway through that second period, but the damage is done.
Yeah, they basically just dug themselves a hole and have not been able to claw their way out of it. As Ibaka finds himself down on the floor, does manage to get up under his own power. Good to see.
But not able to stop Wanamaker from scoring to increase the pain for the Raptors.
And Ibaka tries to go in down low, blocked by Tatum. Great hands there by Tatum on the help defense, and Tatum is just going to step into a 3 on the opposite side short. Unfortunately for the Celtics, and Van Vliet is going to just drive in. Thomas for 3 in transition and in rhythm. Great find by Van Vliet there. Pretty looking shot, too.
Getting some good minutes from Thomas coming off the bench. Didn't play a lot in game 4. Only played about 3 minutes. Forced into action here by foul trouble.
Wanamaker outside to Kemba. Kemba, ooh, great ball movement by the Celtics. What a clinic! What a clinic by the Boston Celtics on that possession. This is like the San Antonio Greg Popovich where the ball like never hits the floor.
Mm.
I mean, what? Wow. Celtics just whipping passes to each of the players there out on the floor, and Tatum winds up with a wide open shot as Van Vliet drives and results in a turnover. Good defense by Thomas, who manages to stop Brown, and the ball goes right out of bounds. Brown loses the ball, and it will be a turnover back to Toronto.
Yeah, Brown just must have tried to recover that one, just getting that last finger on it. And Toronto gets the stop, so Thomas again coming up, getting his name mentioned in a positive light in that transition.
And talking about non-positive ways to mention your name, Powell just throws the ball out of bounds after he's clearly not on the same page as Van Vliet. Van Vliet wanted him to wait to go around the screen. It looks like that's what Van Vliet was telling him, and Powell completely misread the play there, and Wanamaker tries to dive in. Finished with left, but just a little too strong.
Yeah, and Ibaka just escorting that one out of bounds. So about 2 minutes in. So again, we're still hovering around that 23-point margin for Boston.
Great pass down low by Lowry, cleaned up and finished by Powell on the little reverse there. Great look down low. Screen up high by Wanamaker. It's Kemba with the ball at the moment. Kemba working on Ibaka. Kemba's going to try to finish, and he's going to try to go to the rim, but Ibaka's going to block it. And coming down the other way, Toronto, Matt. Yes, Thomas for three, but that is off.
Just going up and down here, but not very much actually happening.
As Tatum tries to slam it down on Van Vliet, but can't get it. Denied by the rim, and there's a foul in transition. Oh, man, Tatum's eyes lit up when he saw that. He had a lane there. He wanted it. I would too, to be totally honest. I would. Tatum going to go up against Ibaka, and Ibaka just gets the hand up there.
I didn't see the credit go in for the block on that one, but that might get added later on.
Definitely a block.
But yeah, as an accomplished dunker myself, absolutely, you see the lane open up.
Oh man.
Part of that sentence may be a lie.
I don't know which part. You know, I can't actually tell. The Terrence Davis now in out of Ole Miss here. Terrence Davis from the left-hand corner tries to put up a three for the Raptors. Isn't helping their shooting percentage very much. And Tatum dribbles the ball off his foot like he did at the NC State game that I still can't forgive him for. And now Toronto has the ball. Terrence Davis going to shoot again. That one goes off the back of the iron. And the Celtics are back up and running. Jeez, Tatum. Jaylen Brown, tough shot, trying to go over Ibaka. Great rebound on the weak side by Williams, though. Pulls it down in between two Raptors. Just goes up and brings it in.
Tough rebound.
You know, Raptors as a dinosaur don't really have those long arms. It kind of makes it difficult to. I'm not sure they could go over their head with them either. Be tough for rebounding.
It is a known fact. They didn't cover it in the Jurassic Park movies, but it is a known fact that they were much more prone to reach in fouls in the low block.
Oh, that's just kind of in the nature, I suppose.
Yeah, but basketball paleontology 101.
It's an underrated science, actually. Yeah. Although there is no other dinosaur-esque mascot in the NBA. I do wonder where the Raptors comes from. Do you know that there is a history of all the teams, but
I think the Raptors thing was just Jurassic Park was really popular at the time. It came out the year before they came into the NBA. So.
Well, there you go. Just trying to capitalize on the market. That's great marketing. Van Vliet going to go to the free throw line here as Brown picks up a foul. Van Vliet, despite being down 20 points, 22 points, still playing hard here, especially on the defensive end.
That's what you got to do if you want to make a run. You've got to try and make something happen. And at least credit to Van Vliet that he hasn't given up here. You can still make those effort plays. And again, you just you've still got 7 minutes, time enough if good enough. And you can, you get this down to 16 or 14 or something. That's still doable. It would be spectacular. It would be the top story on every Sports Center bulletin for the next 24 hours, but it's not impossible.
To make a comeback here, boy, that would be. Well, look, put it this way: if the Raptors put a comeback here, then like the Celtics are about as mentally broken as the Bucks were after Game 3, right? Where the Bucks were ahead, they were leading, and then we got to that point. That was the game we were calling on Friday, and Miami, that fourth quarter, I mean, the Bucks just collapsed, like completely collapsed.
Yeah, you think if Boston gives up a 30-point lead in the second half, they should be relegated, and we'll bring up the Maine Red Claws to play the rest of the series.
3-pointer there, however. The thing is an and one. This is an and one and a 3-point shot. Gonna go for the old-fashioned 4-point play, actually.
Yeah, the foul is on the rebound tussle rather than the 3-point shot, but it is a shot and a foul.
It will just be no. Okay, that free throw does not go down. So if you're Toronto, you absolutely need to be making free throws at this point. Walker fouled on his way to the basket. Absolutely. Tough drive going right there. Not really sure what Boucher is complaining about.
No, that's a pretty easy call.
Nick Nurse also taking his side, but going to be on the wrong side of that call. So still, it's only an 18-point game. Kemba at the line going to go for 2.
Yeah, every time I glance down, that margin's dropping.
I suspect he will make them, and as I say that, he then misses 1. So
Vance commentator's curse.
Oh boy, that's when you know you've made it, right? When you can actually curse the players at the free throw line. If only, chat. If only. Kemba for again. There you go. Kemba makes that one. Are they showing off the bands they used to track people? Is that what that was?
I think that's what that was.
Yeah. Van Vliet for 3. Oh, halfway down. Rebound, however, to the Raptors. Unless they're going to call a foul on the floor first. Yes. Yes, I think they do call a foul, and we've hit a media timeout here for the under 8. If you're Toronto, you just didn't want that foul to be called because you got 2 free points there.
Yeah, it would have been wide open for the dunk, but the reason he was wide open is because of the clear out. So that brings us to 6:52 left in regulation. Toronto down 19, 92-73. Boston has a foul to give. Toronto does not. I think I fell a little out of sync there, but we'll sort that out when the timeout finishes.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get ourselves back in the
technical foul on Toronto during the timeout.
So on Nick Nurse?
Not sure.
Okay. Wow. So they teed up Toronto. So that's 2 technical fouls on Toronto. One was on Lowry earlier, and now another one. We don't exactly know who it was called for. We'll get you that as soon as we come out of the timeout here. And we get ourselves back in sync.
Yeah, I can tell you who the referee was who called the technical, but I can't tell who it was on.
Who it was on? Oh, boy. Was it just one of those, team technical fouls?
Well, at the moment, it just shows Toronto technical. So it might be a player on the bench, or it could be Nick Nurse.
Yeah. All right, so
where does FIBA rules it goes on the bench? If it's a player who's not currently on the court, it's a bench technical.
Yeah. Where does Toronto go from here?
I think you just got to regroup and you've got to look at how you work your offense here, because they got jumped a bit early. They just weren't making shots, and then from there they kind of panicked and they were starting to force things, and that basically played into the Celtics' hands because you're feeding Daniel Tice shot blocks.
Yeah.
You're just sort of running straight into the defense, running into double teams, and then Boston's running straight out of turnovers into easy points. And they've played a lot better in this second half. So I think you focus on what they've done in the second half. They've managed to execute. They've managed to hit more shots, and just say, okay, we need to do that for 48 minutes. You can't give up a 20-point advantage in the first quarter and then suddenly expect to be competitive. So you focus on that. You forget that first half happened, I think, and you look at the second. Because again, they've outscored. It was a 27-point margin at halftime. It's down to 19 now. They are continuing to chip away.
Yeah, because they did win the third quarter 28-25. So they're definitely capable of. I mean, they've won 2 games in the series. You know, they're definitely capable of winning games here. It just the shots just weren't falling, and so that they kind of let that affect their defense, and then as you mentioned, kind of let them affect their offense even worse, and so it just sort of snowballed out of control from there. And here we are back in. We have the camera angles here, and Nick Nurse is mouthing off to the official, and yes, he is the one that gets teed up, and he just
The
yep,
referee didn't even look at him. It's
nope,
just
nope,
pointed in that general direction.
bang,
I'm not.
that way.
I am not entertaining this topic of conversation.
Kemba at the free throw line to take the technical free throw, and he does get that to go. Most of the Raptors starters there being shown on the bench. So Toronto really only down 20. Don't know if they're necessarily waving the white flag here or not, as Tice gets blocked twice, and on the third go around, he will be fouled going up by Rondé Hollis Jefferson out of Arizona, and or not. Looks like the ball's going the other way, but that should be a foul.
They're actually calling that defensive goaltending on Boucher. So after the Tice, I mean, it's great defense. Great effort from Thomas behind to get that block on the first one, but they called it goaltending on the second attempt.
All right. Oh, because Tice went up for it? It would have to be if Tice. Wait, defensive goaltending would be. Oh, so they just award him the points. All right. Yeah. Got it. So Tice gets the points, and he gets the rebounds.
Yeah, just padding his stats.
Oh, really tough shot there by Matt Thomas. I want to say Matt Jones was a Duke player, Matt Jones, but not the case. Different person. Again, Tatum there with the wrist on the right wrist from earlier in the game that you noticed. Maybe when he came down and took a bit of an awkward fall there after a block when he was driving in.
Yeah, just trying to shake something off there. I think he might have got a bit of a hack. And indeed, he's going to the free throw line.
And he does make the first, and he's going to wind up here for the second. And connects.
I suspect if this lead hovers around 23-25, by the time we get to the next timeout, I think both teams are going to put the cue in the rack and decide that, yeah, this one's done. Time to prepare for Wednesday.
See, that's a billiards reference. I got that. Got a little bit of everything here.
Australians are sports junkies. Will literally, watch two flies racing up a wall.
Oh, but you'll manage to turn just about anything into a sport.
Pretty much.
There you go. Toronto driving down in transition. Marcus Smart going to be called for a cheap foul here. Starters for the Celtics still in, however. Starters for the Raptors not.
I think they're just trying to extinguish whatever spark Toronto might have left.
Yeah, but the starters for Toronto are in their warm-ups. It doesn't look like they're coming back into the game anytime soon.
No, I don't think we'll see them till Wednesday unless Toronto gets on a run here. The starters aren't coming back.
It's still a 20-point margin as Rondé Hollis-Jefferson manages to connect and hit both. Full court pressure here by Toronto, trying to force a turnover in the backcourt. The three main ball handlers, Tatum, Smart, and Kemba, here for the Celtics, managed to bring that ball up the court just fine, however. But the shot from Brown, the mid-range jump shot there from the wing, is just off. From the outside, it is Powell, and Powell's shot does connect. Three-pointer for Powell is good. 17-point margin here. 5
It's the
minutes to
closest they've
go.
been in a while.
It is. But that is a cheap foul about 85 feet from the basket by Hollis Jefferson against Kemba Walker. And because they're in the bonus, as you pointed out, they're walking all the way over, and it's going to be free throws for Boston.
This could be interesting in a slightly odd kind of way if Toronto does start making a run here, because they will start looking to extend the game and fouling to stop the clock. And you think down 17 with 5 minutes to go, that wouldn't be much of a strategy, but they have continued to chip away at the lead.
Except I'm not really sure who you can intentionally foul on the Celtics, because most of them have been making shots or making their free throws throughout the game.
Yeah,
So
as a team, they've been excellent.
yeah, 22 of 25. Toronto's been equally excellent, 9 of 11, but they just don't have the volume of those free throws to sort of keep up, right? Like if both teams had taken more or less an even number of free throws, you'd give Toronto another 10 points, and this would be a 7-point game here with about 4:30 to go in the fourth, which would be quite interesting. As Tice dives in, the assist from Tatum there is good. So does Tatum have his triple double yet or not?
I'll go to my. I have 4 monitors here doing multiple bits of duty, but none of them showing everything at the same time. Tatum 18, 10, and 4. So he's got his double-double.
Yes.
I think he's a bit short of the triple-double. Kemba Walker, 21.7 assists.
Kemba playing phenomenally well in this game as well. Jaylen Brown drives in, gets his own rebound. The putback no good, but finds himself at the free throw line for 2 more shots. Yes, the first one is good. As we wind the clock down here on this game, it does look like the Celtics holding a 20-point lead. Now, watch. I'm going to say this, and then it's going to be like the lead's just going to evaporate in the next 2 minutes, and we're going to go into overtime or something, which would be like very interesting basketball. But if the Celtics do manage to hang on, we'll be back on Wednesday evening to see if the Celtics can finally close it out in Game 6. And finish the series 4-2. So make sure to hit the follow if you're on the Twitch side of things, or the sub if you're on the YouTube side of things. We'll fix there's some latency issues on the YouTube side tonight, but we'll fix those for Wednesday. In any case, we'll be back and doing that game on Wednesday night, and see if the Celtics could advance to the Eastern Conference Final and set up what might be a Miami Celtics final there. Beautiful pass. Beautiful pass, alley-oop from Tice to Jaylen Brown. That was pretty. Tice playing phenomenally well all night, Derek, and you've been on this storyline the whole night. But look, this is just sort of icing on the cake, getting himself involved on the offensive end. Beautiful assist pass with a pass over the top of the Toronto defense to Brown.
Look, as an old post player myself, which is a lie, it's been fun to watch Tice, there's a lot of little things that he's done right tonight. He's been in the right place at the right time, making good decisions, challenging shots, defending the rim. He did get called for one goaltend, but again, like we mentioned earlier, that's a good error. It's a hustle play where you're challenging shots, trying to make stuff happen. And yeah, he's been maybe not the best player on the Celtics, but he's been my favorite player to watch tonight. I think he's made a huge difference in this game for Boston. And yeah, I think we're going to see a rash of subs. I think platoon subs for Boston, and I think the benches are going to play this one out.
Yes, I think that is kind of where we're headed. Tice playing in the sort of in the stead of the injured Gordon Hayward, which is back in the bubble with the Celtics. Presumably won't see him until the next series, the Eastern Conference Finals, if the Boston is able to advance. But he has filled in admirably for the Celtics ever since